Hi everyone, welcome to TSAT TET coaching classes. As regards these coaching classes concern, in the earlier sessions we have discussed something about parts of speech, conjunctions, précis writing, etc. etc. In today's session, we are going to discuss something about letter writing, format of the letters and different types of the letters. Let us get into it. The important point which you have to take care of is that the importance of letter writing has not come down. It has come down little bit with the advent of emails, computers and modern technology. The concept of writing letters has taken a back seat, but the style persists and the people use it while writing emails. Okay. Now, same letter writing format has been transferred to the emails, and letter writing or drafting letters demands a special attention, meticulous attention, right. And because letter writing is written communication from one person to other person, one organization to other organization, something of the same sort. It is basically a written communication. So, one should be very careful about what is being written, what is the content, body of the letter is supposed to be written, what are the thoughts that are supposed to be put in letter, what kind of communication is to be conveyed, what should be communicated through letter, should be very carefully drafted. And here you can look at some of the objectives of letter writing. Okay. And letter writing, letter which you write, which you draft, bridges communication gap between two or more parties. It might be individuals, it might be organizations. A letter creates awareness or informs or provokes a thought in the receiver or the mass. If a huge gathering is receiving a letter, right, it creates some kind of awareness, or they are going to be informed something else, or it is going to provoke a kind of thought among them, or if an individual receives it, same thing is going to happen to that individual even, right. A well written letter is a good way to express one's feelings. A heartfelt letter acts as a personal memoir and may be preserved by the receiver in the long run. Now, let us get into the actual letter writing and discussing something about different types of letters. Letters are basically categorized into two types, informal letters and formal letters. Just focus some light on informal letters. These are also known as personal letters. When you write to your intimate friends, when you write to your relatives, when you write a letter to your family members, these are considered to be as informal letter, because you need not to be very formal in terms of expressing your ideas to your intimates, to your friends, to your close friends, to your family members or relatives or something like that. So, these are the informal letters. At times neighbors also, okay, usually written to a family, friends, relatives, neighbors, or to some of the very close acquaintances. So, these are informal letters. These letters may or may not have a concrete reason of writing. Why do you write a letter to your family? Because you are far away from them, just to convey your well-being and to know their well-being, or to convey some information, just like that, without any reason. You just write these letters to your friends, family members, relatives, or close acquaintances or neighbors, isn't it? There is no any particular intended reason behind drafting these personal letters. They may be written just to share an experience or inquire about someone's whereabouts, or updating someone's with a general incident, etc. etc. Second type of letter, as I told you, formal letters. these are very important, right. In informal letters you can write whatever that comes to your mind. You need not to be very particular about expressions or language which is used in that letters, but whereas in formal letters you have to be very, very careful, you must be very careful. And these letters are written to discuss some business ideas or business related issues, or apply for services, making some requests, filing or registering some complaints. All these letters do fall into the category of formal letters, right. The very idea of this formal letter is what is being discussed. The foundation of these letters and categorization depends upon what is being conveyed, what is being discussed, what is being informed, what is being communicated in the letter. This is very, very important. And the letters must be always short and they must be always to the point, isn't it? And the formulation of these formal letters, letters of applications, official letters and letters to the editors, these are also considered to be as formal letters. Now let us get into the format of a letter. How do we go about in terms of drafting a letter or writing a letter? A letter is a composed of various elements that may change depending upon the nature of the letter, right. And if you look at some of the main elements of the letter, the first comes here, sender's address, isn't it? The first comes here, sender's address. So sender's address is the mailing address of the sender, right. If you send the letters, you become the sender. If I write a letter, I become the sender. It is an essential parts of both formal and informal letters. The receiver comes to know who is the sender of the letter. It is also known as the written address, as it acts as a backup address in case the letter gets damaged or unaccepted or undelivered. If the letter is not being received by the receiver, if it is not delivered to the receiver's address, then it comes back to the sender. So the sender's address is very, very important, okay. It is omitted only if the letter is being written, typed on a letterhead or stationery already imprinted with the same, okay. Sender's address is not mandatory, right. If the letter is being typed on a letterhead kind of thing, as you said here, and stationery already imprinted with the same kind of thing. Sender's address follows a typical format of writing as given below, that consists of the designation of the sender. It is not mandatory, it is optional, followed by the name of the organization he works for, or the physical address, the building numbers, street numbers, etc., etc., state, town, pin code names of the country, right, something like this, if it is international. So sender's address will have these things, right. Designation of the sender, it is not mandatory, optional. Name of the organization which he works for, the building number, street area, state, town, pin code or name of the country if it is an international letter. So this is what senders related information. In case of a business letter, a reference number may also be included depicting that the letter is written in response to a particular inquiry, letter, file, record, etc., etc., right. Here designation of the sender, name of the organization and reference number are not included in the formation of the sender's address of informal letters for obvious reasons, right. These are all not required if it is going to be an informal letter. So this is how the sender's address is going to be there. Line 1, designation of the sender, formal letters, name of the organization, formal letters, building number, street area, formal letters, state, town, pin code, optional, and country if it is corresponding internationally, and reference number. It is not it is also not mandatory unless and until it is very, very essential to be mentioned. So it is how you go about in terms of mentioning the letter, sender's address, right. This is as regards the formal letter is concerned, this is informal letter is concerned, sender's address, right. It is from the manager, ABC Private Limited, 20 Wazipur, New Delhi, its pin code, etc., reference number. This is not mandatory, this is optional. So, this is informal letter, you can write your sender's address like this. So, this is first important area that you should understand. Succeeding the space of the written address comes the date on which the letter is written, sent. This is very, very important aspect. Mention your date. Okay. One may opt any format out of two stated below to record the date in the letter. This is the format of the date and letter, 24th August 2022. I have given just an example here, August 24th, 2020. It is up to you, if it is up to the senders how he goes about in terms of mentioning the date. Then comes the third important area, the receiver's address, which is very, very important and vital. You have to be very clear about mentioning the receiver's address. Receiver's address is the corresponding address, this is also called as corresponding address of the person to whom the letter is being sent, to whom we are sending the letter. It is placed after the date in formal letters. The rule is it is placed after the date in formal letters. Since personal letters are sent to acquaintances or known people, receiver's address is only mentioned on the envelope carrying the letter, right. It is not compulsory to mention the receiver's address in the letter, because in informal letters we are going to put it on the envelope itself, right. Since personal letters are sent to acquaintances or known people, receiver's address is only mentioned on the envelope carrying the letter. Then the next point is, if the letter is being addressed to someone whose title, post, name of the official and the name of the organization is known, then the sender must start with the receiver's designation and the name of the organization, followed by the building numbers, street area, state, town, pin code, etc., as formatted like this. So, this is the receiver's address format, name of the official, personal title, doctor, professor, something like this, Mr. Okay. So, first comes name of the official, then professional title, what he is actually, then name of the organization, where exactly this organization is located, building number, street, area, then state, town. Same thing with regard to the sender's address which we have discussed, going to be in the receiver's address also. What is the name of the official? If it is possible, try to put it in block letters. Okay. So, it would be easy for the carriers to understand the address very clearly. And what he is, professional title, doctor, engineer, vice chancellor, registrar, teacher, right, something of the same sort. So, which organization he works for, name of the organization, the physical location of the physical address of the entire building and other things. Something like this, to the manager, Ecotech Private Limited, just I have given one address like this, you just follow this kind of format in terms of writing the receiver's address. This is considered to be as receiver's address format. Then this is very, very important. This subject conveys what the letter is all about, the intended information of the letter, what the letter is going to carry. This point has to be mentioned in the subject itself. A subject determines the purpose of writing in the brief, right. It helps the recipient to deal successfully with the aim of your letter, yours letter. So, what exactly I received the letter? If I read the subject, then I will come to know, oh, this letter is about this thing. Okay. It is preceded with the word subject and it is placed directly after the receiver's address. The subject comes after the receiver's address. Okay. and it is a part of formal business letters which are written either in reference to an earlier correspondence or to someone with whom the sender is usually in contact. You must have written a subject at least once while applying for leave concession, filing a complaint, executive deal, etc., etc. It should be very clear, concise, not more than 10 to 15 words, right. Then the salutation. This is also very important aspect of letter writing. The salutation is a customary greeting to the recipient of the letter, right. In the coming slides, we will see how do we go about in terms of writing salutation. It varies depending upon the intimacy relationship between the sender and the receiver. It usually begins with the word dear, followed by the title Mr., Mrs., Mr., Doctor, if no, and the first name of the person. Okay. In case the gender and the name of the recipient is not known, you must address the person dear sir or dear ma'am. Since the salutation is professional in formal letters, salutation is very important in formal letters, right. The salutation used in personal letters or informal letters is that is friendly, but as regards this formal letters are concerned, you have to be very polite, right. You may greet the receiver the dear, dearest, followed by the first name, nickname, etc., etc. It is advisable to greet your elders with respect, such as dear grandma, dear grandfather, dear father, dear mother, dear sister, dear brother, etc., etc. Okay, and not to use their names. So here you come across the salutation for informal and formal letters. For informal letters, for blood relations, elderly people, older people, respected grandma or something like that. For blood relations, youngest, my dear, dear, dearest, all. And for intimate friends and relatives, dear, my dear, same thing can be used as regards informal letters. Informal letters salutation is not that important, right, and you can make use of your own personal salutations also, but whereas the formal letters are concerned, the salutation is very important. Editors, postmasters, police officers, etc., etc., sir oblique madam. If you are well aware of the gender of the receiver, you can say sir. If he is a male, you can address sir. If it is female, you can address ma'am, madam, something like that. Then government officials, etc., etc., sir, ma'am or madam, something. Principals and the head of institutions, respected sir, madam, and employers, present or prospective employers, sir, madam, shopkeepers, businessmen and managers, sir, madam, strangers and acquaintances, sir, madam or dear sir or dear ma'am or miss, Mr. or something like this. So this is how do you go about in terms of making the salutations, putting the appropriate salutations in the letter. The next comes the very important aspect of any letter, that is the body of the letter. In this body of the letters, we try to communicate what exactly we wish to communicate, we would like to communicate, we would like to express, isn't it? So the body of the letter is the nucleus part of the entire letter. Okay. So the body is the most important element of the letter. It can said to be that the destination of the journey as it lays the reason behind your writing. What for you are writing this letter? It includes the message the sender wants to convey. While the body of a personal letter can be long and detailed, containing as many feelings, as many expressions, as many experiences, as many advices, news, etc., etc., on a personal front, but in formal letter, you should be very short, you should be very condensed, to the point, precisely you should be able to mention everything. It is best to use short, clear, logical paragraphs to state your subject. It should not be lengthy as in personal letters. It must not be lengthy as in your personal letters, right? People might not have time to go through the entire details, so that you should be very particular in terms of mentioning the points. You should be to the point, conveying it to the receiver. There can be 3 subparts as regards the body of the letter for letter drafting as follow: as introductory paragraph stating the main point, middle paragraph justifying the importance, the need of writing this letter with certain supporting points, and a concluding paragraph restating the purpose and requesting him for some action, doing the needful, etc., etc. The paragraphs of the body must be intended depending upon the style chosen. So, this is also very important. Be sure to skip a line between the salutation and the introductory paragraph, and also between the concluding paragraph and the closure. So, this is how you go out in terms of leaving the space. Margins must be left on all 4 sides of the letter. It creates attractive appearance to the letters. Then concluding lines. It comes at the end of the body of the letter, always begin as a new paragraph. It is determined by the writer's relation with the addressee. For friends, with best regards, with best wishes; for parents and elders, with love and respect, with respect and affectionate regards, with regards; for younger relatives, with love, best wishes, with best wishes; for official letters, thanking you, with best regards, etc., etc. Right. There is something related to this aspect called complementary closures. Then how do you go about in terms of closing the letter? For informal letters, for friends and acquaintances, you can mention like this, yours sincerely, or sincerely yours, yours truly, truly yours, etc., etc. For relatives and friends, yours affectionately, and your yours loving, etc. But in formal letters, you are not supposed to make use of such expressions. Principals and headmasters, yours obediently; editors, government officials, shopkeepers, private firms, organizations, etc., yours faithfully, yours truly; and strangers, yours faithfully. For employment from one official to another, complaints or requests to other officials, yours faithfully. So, these are the complementary closures that you are supposed to mention. Then the signature line. It is the last part of the letter where the sender signs off with his her first and last name. First and last name. The signature line may also include the second line in informal letters for the title, post of the sender, if appropriate. Okay. And while writing letter, you have to be very careful about some important aspects. Selection of the correct words, appropriate words. Words are the writer's tools, and the writer need to put the right word in the right expression with the precision. Okay. It should, however, be remembered that the right words become relevant only in the right context. For example, an emotional or flowery language has to be fully avoided in business letter, isn't it? So, then to the point content. Nothing more harmful to good communication than confused state which may result in not conveying the exact point. Before writing a letter, one should be sure of what one wants to convey. What do I convey? All the facts and methodologically to be conveyed. One should not be vague about one's objective. Then conciseness, it should be short. Formal letters must be concise. Okay. In formal letters, especially, one must not write unnecessary statements and unnecessary sentences. To the point information or inquiry is prerequisite of a business correspondence. Long illustration and elaboration must be avoided all costs. Then the fourth important point that you should be careful of is courtesy. A letter reveals its writer's attitude, writer's personality, writer's character. One must remain totally professional while writing a letter. Even while writing a complaint letter, care should be taken that is couched in polite and civilized language. Good judgment determines what and how points has to be conveyed. This is also very, very important. The next point, the correct use of punctuation marks. Use of punctuation marks use of capital letters, commas or colons is must to make our writing effective. Sometimes placement of comma or full stop at a wrong place may change the meaning of the entire sentence, can steal the effectiveness of the good letter. Hence, utmost care and attention should have been paid towards the punctuation while writing. And the next point is style. The conversational style is the most suitable for one for letter writing. It is best to write in simple, clear style, maintaining a logical sequence of ideas. Every sentence should grow out of the preceding one. There should be no abrupt jumping from one idea to the other idea. So, this is what we are going to sum up the elements of a letter at a glance. For informal letters, sender's address, date, salutation, content required can be long and detailed, concluding lines, complementary closures and signature line. As regards to formal letters concerned, sender's address, date, receiver's address, subject, salutation, content specific and to the point, and concluding remarks, concluding lines, complementary closures, signature along with the designation or title. And addressing on envelope, and addressing an envelope is very important for those people who write letter. It is not part of a letter writing. Address address property in cover of envelope will help you to deliver envelope property to the destination. So, address and the envelope objective is to send it to the receiver. Postage and addressee. Postage and address are two main elements of addressing an envelope. Here envelope format is also given for you for your better understanding, right. Horizontal lines must be used to make use of this address on envelope format, right. The picture shows how an address envelope should look like. The horizontal lines are supposed to be made use to mention the receiver's address. So these are some of the important points as regards the letter writing is concerned. I hope you have enjoyed the session, and please go through this. This is going to be considered as a descriptive grammar, and 2 to 3 marks will be asked from this letter writing area. So I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.